नमो खण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरं गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। ध्यानमूलं गुरोर्मूर्ति पूजामूलं गुरोर्पदं मन्त्रमूलं गुरोर्वाक्यं मोक्षमूलं गुरोर्कृपां ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वदा साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि, सद्गुरुं तं स्मरामि, सद्गुरुं तं भजामि। नमो ब्रह्मण्यदेवाय गोब्राह्मणहिताय च जगद्विताय श्रीकृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। नमो श्री ब्रह्म विद्यां योगशास्त्रे नमः। श्री गुरुचरणकमलेभ्यो नमः। श्री कृष्णाय नमः। Welcome and good evening. We shall continue to recite and decipher the Lord's own sermon in the shape of Gita. This Gita that we are reading is the Adhyatmic Gita, which means the spiritual Gita. There are special connotations to this Gita as opposed to thousands, in fact probably millions of Gitas interpreted or translated or commented upon by many people over the ages. I have, during the introduction when we started, I have said this. I think it is important to remember that there is a simple short adage which all of the Sanatan Dharmis need to understand and remember. That is, Yat Brahmande Tat Bhande. Bhand is container and Brahmand is the universe. It says Yat Brahmande, whatever exists in the entire universe also exists in your body. By that logic, if you extend it a little more, then the epic battle of Mahabharata, which took place according to some of the historians about 5,000 years ago, I don't believe that. There's no logic to that kind of a thinking. By our logic, it was at least 300,000 years ago. Because it was at the conjunction of Dwapar and Kali Yugs. And Kali Yuga is supposed to be 336, 20, something like that. 300 plus 1,000 years. 300,000 years at least. Therefore, there is a discrepancy in the time that is allotted to Mahabharata. So regardless, we move on. Larry Marsh's interpretation is he is not making any comments about the epic battle having taken place years and years and years ago. His comment is only on the fact that the very same battle is taking place inside your body. And that is how he has interpreted. He has defined the very many characters and the very many instruments of war, including the conch shell and the mace, and he has attributed it to objects available inside our body. The Pandavas themselves are the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air and space. These are the Pandavas, 5 Pandavas. Draupadi is the Sushumna, or the central flow channel for pran, your life breath. There are 3. 2 outermost, one on the left side called Ida, the other on the right side called Pingla, and the central one called Sushumna. This is Draupadi. She is born out of a yagya, which is like a fire ceremony, fire worship, which is what goes on in your body incessantly in the Manipur chakra in the navel. And if you do it well with Pran Kriya, then you get Draupadi. That is how Arjun gets Draupadi. He does Kriya as a rishi, and then he moves from Somnath in Gujarat to Dwarka, which is also in Gujarat, and he finds Subhadra also. Subhadra is Nivriti. Nivriti is a Vibhuti, we call it in Hindi, attribute at best in English of the Lord Himself. Nivriti is the opposing enabling force available to all sadhaks, all practitioners of Kriya Yoga and other dharmic processes, and it counters your normal tendencies and converts them into your tendency to worship God, to look for Him, to search for Him, etc. That is Nivriti, as opposed to Pravritti. Pravritti is your normal worldly tendencies. So, having said all this, we have moved from Vishad Yoga to Sankhya Yoga to Karma Yoga, and now we are finally in Gyan Yoga. In Gyan Yoga, we shall be reading the 14th shlok. So let us start. I don't think many people have just joined us, but we can't wait. So the Lord says, this is basically, the Gita consists of 700, some say 701 verses, which we call in Hindi, we call shlok. These are, most of them, at least I would say, I don't know the exact number, but most of them are spoken by the Lord himself, Lord Krishna. The initial few are spoken by Dhritarashtra's Sarathi, charioteer, and then there are interspersed with questions raised by Arjun, queries raised by Arjun. So that is the way it is structured. Now, on the 14th shlok, the Lord says, this is Gyan Yoga. Gyan Yoga always has to come after Karma Yoga. Karma means action. Karma means activity. What kind of activity is when defined by Gyan Yoga? Also Karma Yoga, but more prominently in Gyan Yoga it has been described. We will come to that. Akarma, Karma and Vikarma, the three classifications of Karma are provided by Lahiri Mahasaya. And he has got a, see, one thing, another thing that I would like everybody to remember is that this is a very, very, very scientific process, Kriya Yoga and Gita. The misconceptions or the confusions or the contradictions arise because of not being able to learn to go deep into what is being said. Much more lies between the lines than in the lines themselves. If you get blocked or blocked by the lines, then you can't go in between the lines, and therefore you are deprived of the real meaning, the essence of the Gita. So, learning Gita, talking about Gita, explaining Gita cannot be done by Tom and Harry and their cousins. It has to be done under the tutelage of a qualified guru, a Sadguru, who is so, he is ready to bless everybody. He thinks it is his job to explain the Gita to whoever comes and asks questions, and he does that. He has been doing it, whether present in this body or not in this body, both ways. So now, I have said what I wanted to say today. I move on. The shlok is Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spriha itimam yo abhijanati karmar bhirna sabadyate. He says, all actions don't create any bondage on me. Human actions with the intention of getting some object or benefit out of that action. For example, if I am doing a job, I go out to fight a war, for example, then I kill and defeat the enemy, that is my reward. Here, he says, whatever activity you do, if you have your ego involved, where you say, I have done it, so I must be rewarded, that is a bondage. That will cause you to take another birth, that will cause you to suffer the consequences of your actions and your determination of your action, etc. So he says, Lord is now defining very clearly that I am not bound to face the consequences of any action because I am not active, I don't act, I am only a witness. Things happen because of my presence, due to my presence, but they don't happen because I have done them. How? We will come to know that. And he says, I really have no desire for work. I am all, I am complete, I am, I don't need to do anything. So why should I have any desire for any activity, any work? I am complete, I am satisfied, I am blissfully doing sadhana. I am just there. So, the normal bondage that a human being will generate due to his activity, actions, or karma as we call it, does not apply to me. Because he always has an interest, an external interest. He wants to earn money, he wants to get his kids, pass a school or a college exam or get admitted to a good company for a job. They always have desires. I don't have any such desire. So he says, Namam karmani limpanti. My actions do not sully my image, so to say, but sully the image is not the thing. They don't create a bondage, they don't create a binding situation for me. Name karma phale spriha. I have no interest, no desire for karma phal, rewards of action. Itimam yu abhijanati. In this way, those who know me, and there are very few, karma bhirna sabadhyate, even they are released from their bondages of whatever actions they have taken or will take in the future. The Lahiri Mahasaya defines this as, I don't get involved in any work, action, nor do I have any desire for any reward of any action. Those, therefore, who know me as such, neither involved nor interested, they themselves are thus freed. Apta kamasya ka spriha. He who has got everything, what could he possibly desire? You can be a part of me. By practice of Kriya Yoga, you will reach a status where you will be completely free of the bondage of even your own body. You will be released from that attachment to your own body. Now you see, your world is created because you are there in the core. Since you are there, you have parents, friends, siblings. You are there, you have a wife or a husband. And because you are there, you have children. And that is how your world keeps growing. Because in the center is you. Kabir Das ji has sung a very beautiful line which reminds me of this. He says, कबीरा खड़ा बाजार में लिए लुकाटी हाथ, जो घर बारे आपको, जो घर बारे आपको, सो चले हमारे साथ. It's a long one. I'll just confine myself to the relevant portion, and it says, Kabir says he's standing in the center of the village square. He's calling out to people. He said, those who are prepared to burn down their house, burn down the house means abandon their sansar, the world, artificial world that you have created. Those who are interested in that manner, join me. Those who are not interested, stay with your world. This is how you have to move on. You have created the world, you have given your children what you thought was their essential requirements, you have fulfilled them, you have put them in the college, you have made sufficient provision for them to earn their keep. You've done everything. What have you done for yourself? You always think, oh, I've got so much fixed deposit, so much mutual fund, so much this, so much land, so much palana, and that will provide for me. How long? Only till the time of your final departure from the earth. What about beyond? What can you take with you when you go? What did you bring when you came? So Kabir says, so does Lahiri Mahasaya, so does Krishna, so does every saint on the face of the earth, that you provide for your journey beyond this earth. And there is no currency there. When we reach chapter 16, we will know what the Lord Krishna is saying about this. What is the currency that you can carry? If you go to England or maybe USA, you need to carry dollars or sterling pound. Indian rupee will not work there. Similarly, when you go there, the currency is totally different. It's pap and punya. What is pap, what is punya? Lahiri Mahasaya is defined. So let us move on. By the incessant practice of sadhan which is Kriya Yoga. The sadhak or the to be yogi, he who is trying to be a yogi. A yogi is only one who is actually enjoined with the Lord. There is no difference between the two. I am a, what should I say? I am an apprentice. I am trying to be a yogi. I am not a yogi yet. So, a yogi, even an apprentice will learn this about his soul. And knowing this, appreciating this, will work at assimilating this knowledge and acting accordingly, changing his style of thinking, changing his thoughts, changing his wandering around the world, and trying to move towards me. Such a yogi will himself be detached from what the world is doing. It's very easy to get involved. You know, there is Israel and Hamas conflict, and the world over there are disturbances on the universities. The children are the easiest to, influence. And so both the lobbies, the Israeli lobby and the Hamas lobby, is influencing them. There are disturbances, there are things like some people living in Colombia, in USA, what are they fighting for in the war in Gaza Strip? It's not their war. They can't do anything about it. But a human tendency is there to get involved in everything that is happening around you, whether it concerns you or not. I called up my granddaughter, she's about 18 now, and she's in England, and I told her, look, people and forces will try and suck you into this war and demonstration, and you might land up into trouble. So stay away. This is not your war. This is not your battle. Just stay away. She said, of course. All I'm trying to say is, whatever is happening in the world is not your battle. So don't get involved. See, right from the very beginning of your life, right from the beginning of your life, nothing has been in your control. Whether you will be a male or a female, not your control. Whether you will be born in Bengal or Madras or Germany or Japan or Eskimo in Iceland, not in your control. What language you will speak, not in your control. What kind of food you will eat, not your control. What kind of parents you will have, not in your control. What is your control? Why do you get involved in God's own works? Why do you get involved? Why do you try to influence things? That is what God says. Be like me. I'm just a witness. If the world is fighting and, doing nasty things to each other, try and prevent that as much as you can. But when you know it's beyond your control, just step back and watch whatever is happening. The Lord says, what could I possibly desire for? Everything that I could possibly desire for is me. I pervade the entire atomic chain, even in the entire universe. Where is anything there without me? So what am I supposed to desire for? The moment you start thinking like me, you will see the soul in each and every being. You will be able to differentiate, which you are doing now, between your own siblings, your own brother, your family, your friends, etc., etc. Then, for you, everyone will be a soul. The bodily features will not matter. Where he was born, how he was born, does not matter. Which is why in the song that my Guru Maharaj used to like so much, it says last day, in the very end it says, ওরে এমনি কিছু করে যারে আসবি না আর বারে বারে, হাসতে হাসতে যাবি ঘরে, কেউ রবে না পর। ওই যে মহাশূন্য আকাশ, ওইখানে মোর ঘর। স্নেহময়ী মাঝে আমার বাড়িয়ে আছে কর। Let me translate that. Do such a job, such an excellent job of educating yourself that when you leave this world, you never come back. If you have achieved that status, you will be smiling and laughing on your way to your own house, and nobody will be, what should I say, not yours. Nobody will be a foreigner to you or a different person than you. Everything will become one. Keu robe na por. Everyone becomes yours. You become everyone's. This is what he's saying. Sanyal Mahasaya had once said, the art of Kriya Yoga is the ability to understand the generation of infinity from the unity of one. So God generates into so many forms and things and stuff that is infinity, infinite, countless. And then the very same infinity to come together and merge into the one, Lord Himself. This ever expansion and contraction goes on throughout our history. We cannot even come next to even thinking of understanding this. The rishis knew it for hundreds of thousands of years. That is why somebody like Agast Rishi, maybe 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 years ago, wrote about my life. Where I'll be born, what will be my brothers, who will be my sisters, who will be my parents, what will be their name, what is the name of the town, everything he wrote. And this guy was just, going on and on and on. He was reading from there, translating it in English. No, in Hindi actually. Amazing, no? Just think about it. Your most powerful computer on this world cannot do that. Enough data is not available to it. This is why this Kutastha is called Rang Mahal by Kabir. Rang Mahal is where the king, you, your soul, will have programs as per his liking. The Rang Mahal is normally a entertainment zone for the kings. They have dancers and musicians and artists come over and perform in his presence. This is always in the Rang Mahal. So Kabir says, this is your Rang Mahal. It's a beautiful bhajan. Tara Rang Mahal mein Ajab Shahar mein. This body he calls Ajab Shahar, a place to live, city. We call it in Hindi Navadwarapur, a city of 9 gates, eyes, nose, ears, so on and so forth. So he says, Tara Rang Mahal mein Ajab Shahar mein Aaja re Hansa bhai Nirgun Raja ne Tirgun Sej bichai. He has made a throne of 3 guns, 3-legged throne, where he himself sits. These 3-legged throne is Satogun, Rajogun and Tamagun. And then he watches the world dance. Beautiful. The end of Kriya, when you reach a stage where you are one with the Lord and you realize it fully. At that point of time, there is no need to go for further Kriya Yoga. You need not practice. This is called a Kriya Avastha, where you are not active, non-active. It is also called বিকর্ম, বিগত হয়ে গেছে যেখানে কর্ম। There is no need for any karma. My Guru Maharaj used to always say, Kriya to ekta nauko. Kriya is just like a boat. তুমি ভবসাগর ক্রস করছো, ক্রিয়া তোমাকে বোটের মতন এই পার থেকে ও পার পৌঁছিয়ে দেবে। ওই পাশে পৌঁছে যাওয়ার পরে আর তোমার বোটের তো দরকার নেই, সেই নৌকোটাকেই তুমি পিঠে নিয়ে বয়ে চলে যাবে, তুমি তো ছেড়ে দেবে। এটাই দিস ইজ বিকর্মা। Let me explain that for you in English. Kriya is like a boat. It takes you from one end of the Bhavsagar and crosses and goes to the unreachable other shore. Once you are there already, you have accomplished your mission. You don't need the boat anymore. So you leave it behind rather than carrying it on your back and moving to a place where the boat is useless. So this is called Akriya Avastha, non-active, or Vikarma, which is where the need for any action, any activity does not exist anymore. You are one with him. So you become like a Sakshi, a witness, which he is. You become him. The examples provided are like the river that flows into the sea and becomes a part of the sea, loses its own individual identity. Ganga, Jamuna, you name the river, all of them merge into the sea. So you have to flow like that. Okay. Sukh, Dukh. Sukh is happiness, Dukh is suffering or sadness, are the body's work, body dharma. Sukh or Dukh does not go to the soul. So as long as you feel I am this body, you will be constantly either Sukhi or Dukhi, mostly the latter. You need to get out of that mindset. You can't do it by just thinking about it or discussing it. You need to practice Kriya Yoga. Now why is Kriya Yoga so important? Very simple. Kriya Yoga is using God's own power called Prana Shakti as the principal instrument to awaken you to reality. Reality is not what you perceive with your eyes or ears or nose or throne or this and that. In the case of, we say, seeing is believing. This is what we normally say. If I see something, I'll believe it. If I don't see it, why should I believe it? It is just the contrary, just the reverse in the case of the Lord. Believing is seeing. Unless you believe, it will not appear to you. But my mind tells me, how do I believe? I have not seen him, I have not felt him, I don't know what he is doing, I don't know how to get around to find out what he is doing. How can I believe? Just because some Pandit told me or even my parents told me, I'll believe it. No. That is why the Lord says, you practice Kriya Yoga with my own power. Now what is this power? This is Prana Shakti. Without Prana Shakti, and that is the only evident power of the Lord. Rest of it, you always see the results, the symptoms, but you don't see the power, their force in action. Pran you see in action. If you stop the breathing, people conk off. So, what does the pran do? It is universal. It does not belong to you, me, him or her. It belongs to all the creatures on the entire creation, not just this world, other worlds as well also. I don't know how many other worlds are there. I am told there are many. So, since pran is universal, and my concept of pran is my pran, it is confined to my body. Pranayam, ayam means dimension, pran means the pran shakti. Aya means dimension, 3-dimensional, 2-dimensional. We know all these. The 3-dimensional movie has length, breadth, and depth or height. Pranayam has the dimension of being universal. Artificially, we have confined it to individual bodies, which is not true. Pranayam slowly but surely gives you the ability to feel you are a universal person. You exist everywhere. That is why your pran is so refined, you are able to perceive the world. Let me come and explain that. Pranayam results in the statement Sarvam Brahmamayam Jagat. The entire creation is full of God. Without God, it cannot be created, it cannot be sustained. It will self-destruct, if at all it can be created, which it can't be. The name Vasudev, which was the name given to Sri Krishna, son of Vasudev. Vasudev was the father. This is Vasudev. Vasudev is, the meaning itself is all pervasive. He exists everywhere, bar no single atom. All atoms exist because of him. And we know the Hadron Collider, the CERN Institute of Astrophysics, where they collide neutrons with neutrons, atoms, and they find different particles. They have found this God particle, which we call Vishnu. Because he is there in each and every atom at the kernel, at the very root. That is why that atom exists in its own shape, maintains that shape and properties, and does not self-destruct. This is class 9, class 10 stuff in science nowadays. So, when the realization comes that you are the soul, you are not this body, number one, and therefore you cannot be polluted by anything worldly, anything which itself is an illusion, because you are the pure soul, which cannot be cut, cannot be wetted, cannot be dried, cannot be grilled, cannot be cooked, cannot be anything. It is impervious to any kind of change. It will never change. So if you, spread some cream and sugar and strawberries on your soul, can you eat it? No. It's not palpable. You cannot hold it. It is jnana only, it's wisdom only. Once you realize what it is and you realize that that is what you are, then you are free of these horrible desires and desire for result, desire for reward, which bound you down to rebirth. All the time you go up and go down. The next shloka he says, Evam gyatva kritam karma purvairapi mumukshubhi kuru karmeva tasmat tvam purve purvataram kritam. Knowing all this, in the ancient times, Mumukshu, he is trying to get salvation. He is striving to achieve salvation. That's called a Mumukshu. And the person who, while still living, has already achieved that status is called a Arud. Arud means enthroned. He's already reached that stage. So even the mumukshus, those who were attempting to reach close to God, going to paravastha or samadhi, they also did this with what I have just told you, the kriya. So, it is something which has been going on for ages. You, Arjun, should start doing the same. Remember, word meaning is that you have to fight this war. What is this war? This war is not the external Mahabharata that is being coerced into fighting. The war is within yourself. I have a suspicion. I have I'm not a researcher. I'm not a scholar. I don't know. I have a suspicion that Islam, when it says fight and kill the kafir, I think they are talking about your internal tendencies. Fight and kill the kafir. Make him believe. I think so. Who knows? There will be people who will say yes. There will be people, most people will say no, you're foolish, don't even talk about this, etc. So I will zip my lip. So the Larry Marshall defines this as तन्निमित कर्म करो जैसे पूर्व के लोग करते थे. To achieve this status, do the work as the ancients used to do. Sanyal Marshall says, कर्म में आत्मा लिप्त नहीं होता है, या आत्मज्ञ भी कर्म में लिप्त नहीं होते. Those who know the soul and the soul itself, both of them do not, they are released from bondage. Work related, action related bondages that are generated, they are bereft of that. Such a generation does not take place for the soul or for the person who knows the soul. But there is a possibility that a curtain will fall and your knowledge might get diluted or diverted. So you have to continue to do the Kriya until you are absolutely sure that you are not going to revert back to your old ways. Who are these mumukshus, people who are trying to get salvation in the past? Sanyal Mahasaya explains them as Janak and the ancient rishis and the sages. They have understood the soul very well, and to keep their knowledge fresh and ready, they have used this sadhan kriya which they never abandoned throughout the living time. When you reach a status in Kriya, and this will happen in a few years of regular practice of Kriya, you will reach a stage when you have done the Kriya, then you don't want to open your eyes, you don't want to talk to anybody. If people come and ask you questions, you don't feel like opening your eyes or talking to them. This is called nasha. Some people even call it ghor. But this does not last for fresh people. So you have to continue to do this until you reach a stage where whenever you close your eyes and think about your soul, you go there. Unfailingly you are in that status of nasha. If you stop doing Kriya without reaching this mature stage, then you are likely to fall down. So Arjun, first start doing Kriya, Karma, Pran Kriya. Until the day comes when your soul shines like 1,000 suns in your kutastha. Only then will you know that I have come, I have arrived, I have reached the stage where I need not continue so intensely, so intensively. And he who has reached this stage should continue this, because he will set an example for others who have not reached this stage, who are still struggling, who are still trying, practicing. He will set an example for such a people. The next shlok is number 16. किं कर्म किम कर्मेति कवयो अप्यत्र मोहिता तत्ते कर्म प्रवक्ष्यामि यज्ञात्वा मोक्षसे अशुभात्. What is karma? What is essential karma? Karma is activity, action. What is akartavya? Which means actions that you should not undertake. Even those with a highly evolved wisdom, buddhi, sometimes get confused about the distinction between the two. What is doable, what is not doable, what is doable, what is avoidable. They got confused. So, I am telling you the secret of this doable and undoable or avoidable action, which will help you to escape from ashubh, non-beneficial or destructive tendencies. You will be released from this bondage. Here he says, in Adhyatmik Vyakhya, Lahiri Mahasaya says, karma, akarma, इसे पंडित लोग भी नहीं समझ सकते. Even the pandits get confused about karma and akarma. So, I am going to tell you what is karma, what is akarma, and what is vikarma, all three. Sanel Mahasaya says, karma will provide you salvation, mukti. But you have to have a clear understanding of the definition. What is karma? If you confusedly do something which is banned or not correct for you, then you will be even tighter, the bondage will be even tighter, more intense. इस कारण कर्म का रहस्य जानने की आवश्यकता है. Therefore, you need to understand what is karma. How does karma turn into akarma? Doable karma turns into unavoidable karma. How? And unavoidable work turns into rewarding work, karma. How does that happen? So you must understand the logic and the limits of karma and akarma. It is possible that you are doing Kriya Yoga, for example, but you are busy traveling the world. Your eyes are closed. You are mechanically doing your breathing exercises and other exercises, but your mind is in a favorite son or a daughter's house and worrying about him or her or your business or your salary or your workplace, then that is akarma. On the converse side, you are doing household work, you are doing your normal routine work, but your mind is with the Lord. You are thinking of Him. That is akarma turned into karma. Any work that binds you to this world is ashubh, and it is likely to bind you to the incessant cycle of birth and death. So then, how do I escape? This is the next one, the 17th. Karmano yapi bodhavyam bodhavyam cha vikarmana akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gati. Even the desirable actions or activity that you undertake, you have to understand why that is desirable. You know, there is your mind has to be absolutely clear about what you are doing and why you are doing it and how it is going to help you. Similarly, those which are avoidable actions or activity, you need to know why they are avoidable. Why shouldn't you do that? What will be the result if you continue to do that? Karma itself is very deep and very, very, very difficult to understand. This is Lord Krishna saying. Lahiri Mahasaya says, Karma is the one that will take you to heaven or to hell. It is your gati. Therefore, he says, you have to understand karma, akarma, and vikarma. It is essential for you to understand these three. Your activity is the one that allows you to live your life, save your body, procreate, protect your offspring. Without activity, there is no gati. You will not be able to reach the Lord. You will not be able to reach me. He says, body and your sensory and work organs, actions need them and they need actions. But unless you understand completely what is avoidable, what is not, what is doable, what is not doable, then it is difficult for you to do the right thing for yourself. Our normal tendency is to do whatever gives you material rewards. Like I join a workplace for the salary that I get. I undertake a business activity, trading maybe, or a manufacturing unit maybe, to get some money. I go on a journey, maybe to a tourist spot, and I need to relax, take a vacation. So all my activities are intended to satiate my bodily needs normally. The bondage comes when you are looking for a reward. This we have said so many times earlier, so this is not something new. I don't know why he is repeating it. Probably he wants it to enter our brains. Like an animal, maybe a horse, maybe a working donkey or mule or dog. We have maybe a nose ring around the bull or mule, and we drag him by that nose ring and make him do work. Similarly, so they are bound to do that work whether they like it or not, and nobody likes to be forced to do any work. Similarly, your sensory organs, your work organs, your man and your brain drags you to unwanted activity. You have to be able to prevent such a bondage. Because what you don't realize is that that kind of activity is condemning you for the next few births. There is a song written by Surdas ji, which is sung by Jagjit. I think I have sung it a few days back. Apne karam ki gati mein kya janu, मैं क्या जानूं बाबा रे. My activity, my actions will lead me to what place and what result, what consequences, I don't know. Only you know it. O Guru, O Baba. अपने कर्म की गति मैं क्या जानूं, मैं क्या जानूं बाबा रे. Then he says, कहे कबीर नर तब ही जागे. The being wakes up. When? यम का दंड मुंड में लागे. He knocks his stick on your head and says, come, your time is over, let's go. And you wake up in panic and say, oh my God, so soon. I have this pending, this is my work pending, this is my bucket list, this I have to do, this I have to do. Yam says, okay, next birth. This birth is over, your quota is over, your ticket is done. I'm your tour guide, come. And you go. You have no options. कहे कबीर नर तब ही जागे, यम का दंड मुंड में लागे, अपने कर्म की गति में क्या जानूं, मैं क्या जानूं बाबा रे. So, he says, Sanyal Maharshi is saying, कर्म की गति दुर्विज्ञेय है. That is translated into English in this way. It is absolutely almost impossible to know which action of yours is going to lead into what consequences subsequently. That is why a lot of time with great desire and greed, we do some work. Maybe cheating, maybe snatching, which will lead you very, very far down on the road. You are trying to climb up a steep slope. You will just slide down into a ditch. That's why what I'm trying to tell you, Arjun, is that you must indulge in your actions, and at the same time it will not generate any bondage. And that is the skill that you must acquire. And that is Kriya Yoga. So, to summarize, karma is the one where you have no ichha of pratifal. That means you are not expecting any rewards. That is karma, which is pran karma. Pran is there. You just concentrate on that. You know the methods your guru will tell you always. So, karma is where you have no underlying desires. In between the karma, when I'm saying, oh my God, I love you, I'm devoted to you, etc., etc., well, the underlining is, make my son pass his exams. He's having a tough time, please. Then it's not karma. It becomes a karma. And a karma is where you have these desires. Followed, what should I say? Karmer pratifal. Ami jokhon chaibo, when I am desirous of getting a reward for whatever action I have taken. I go to, say, Kaliji Mandir here in Kalighat, and I offer a lot of stuff to Ma. You think she is waiting for your offering? You think she cares? What can you offer her that is not already with her? It is hers which you are offering to her. So, in Gita only, in a different location, I think chapter 9, it says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati, patro pushpo phal nevedyo dhoop. Whatever the devout person offers to me, I accept it. Because I am not desirous of those products, I am more interested in his Shuddha Bhakti, in his Shraddha, in his devotion to me, in his bhakti to me, that I accept. And he goes a step further. He says, I can taste it, smell it, feel it. And that is another story which I'll tell you some other time. Very beautiful. So when you go to a mandir, make it a point to ask God for him only. I want you. My Gurudev once said, Jano jiten, ki baba? গুরুর চরণ খুব জোর করে ধরে রেখে রাখতে হয়। ঠিক আছে বাবা, কিন্তু আপনি তো জানেন আমরা তো কমজোর লোক, আমার তো গ্রিপ স্লিপ হয়ে যেতে পারে, তো আপনি দয়া করে হাত বাড়িয়ে আমায় ধরে রাখুন। He laughed and smiled and he nodded. আমি আমার গুরুদেবকে বলে দেবো। I said, as usual, I said, Baba, I don't know your Gurudev, only you know your Gurudev. I know my Gurudev who's sitting here, and I'm requesting him with folded hands never to let me loose. You have to pray to your deity or whoever you like in a manner which pleases him, not in a manner which pleases you. Because your pleasure is transitory. It'll come, it'll go. It'll transform into something else next time. Don't do that. Be clever. I think we'll call it a night. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Ram Narayana Vasudeva Shri Guru Chaitanya He Atmadeva He Mata Durge Har Vishwanatha. Let me try to explain, decipher this little shlok that we just sung. Shri Krishna. What is Shri? Shri is Lakshmi. Shri is those 7 attributes which you read the other day. Speech, memory. What is this memory? Livia had asked me, why do we forget our previous birth? You will not. If you reach that stage where you are one with the Lord, you will remember everything. What happened 1000 years ago, you will know. So, Shraddha, Shri is Lakshmi also, Vijay, Vani, memory. These are 7 attributes we read the other day. So that is Shri. Where does Shri live? Shri lives in the heart of Lord Krishna, Vishnu. Shri Krishna. What is Krishna? Kri karo, kripa mane kriya karo, and akarshan. Krishna, akarshan. The more sadhana that you do, the more you will be attracted to him, and hopefully he will be attracted to you as well. Shri Krishna Govind. Go is your indriyas, your sensory organs. Bind is this small bindu which you see, the dot. Shri Krishna Govind Hare. Hare is Je Haran Kore Ori Ke. Ori is Shatru. And what are your Shatrus? All your internal tendencies. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Mad, etc. So he who takes away, steals away is Hare. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare. Mur is supposed to have been a demon who was an enemy to Krishna. So Mur Are Murare. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare. He Ram Narayana Vasudeva. I need not explain He Ram Narayan. Vasudeva is he who is all pervasive. He exists in each and every atom. He Ram Narayan Vasudeva. Shri Guru Chaitanya He Atmadeva. That is the critical point which I want you to concentrate on. Shri Guru Chaitanya He Atmadeva. Your soul is your ultimate Guru. It is Chaitanya, it is lighted, it is enlivened, and he is your real Guru. Because this is where Krishna is, the Guru of all Gurus. And this is where your Guru is. He is with them. So Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Ram Narayan Vasudeva. Shri Guru Chaitanya He Atma Deva He Mata Durge. It's very beautiful. See, the point is all the words in our Sanskrit vocabulary, all the words in our different languages have got such powerful meaning. We are not aware of it. We have never studied. We have never been acquainted with it. We have missed the bus, so to say. But it's never too late. So, Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukha bhag bhavet. This has been translated into Hindi version also. This, what I just said, this is in Sanskrit. He says, Hey Ish, oh Lord, Hey Ish sab sukhi ho, koi na ho dukhari, sab ho nirog bhagavan dhan dhanya ke bhandari. Same thing in different language, but more or less the same thing. Sarve bhavantu sukhinam, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukha bhag bhavet. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityor mamritam gamaya, aviravi mahidhi. बोलिए प्रेम से गुरु महाराज की जय, परम गुरुदेव की जय, परात्पर गुरुदेव की जय, परमेष्टि गुरुदेव की जय, आदि गुरुदेव की जय, गुरु माता की जय। हर हर महादेव। See this when we say Shri Guru ki Jai, that is my Guru, my Gurudev. Next is Param Gurudev. For me, that is Tiwari Baba. Then is Paratpar Gurudev. For me, that is Sanyal Baba. It will change from person to person. See, Tiwari Baba's Shishyas will have him as Gurudev, and Param Gurudev will be Sanyal Baba, Paratpar Gurudev will be Lahiri Baba. So it will change. For me, first is my Gurudev, then is Tiwari Baba, then we remember Sanyal Baba, then we remember Lahiri Baba, and the last is Lahiri Baba's Guru. He is the Adi Guru. In this day and age, Adi Guru is Babaji Maharaj. And Guru Mata is the same as Durga Ji or Kali Ji. For there is no difference. Worldly eyes will show you enormous difference. You will not be able to perceive the powers that these people have. I have seen my Guru Ma deep in sleep in Ranikhet when we went to see Lahiri Baba's cave. Deep in sleep in Baba's room. Baba was sitting and chatting with her. Hey, boss, kotha boli. And Ma is sleeping and she is doing pranayam. I have seen that. In her deep sleep, she is doing pranayam. This is not an ordinary thing. And I am not an ordinary observer. I was very keen on observing each and every activity, and immediately I asked Baba, Baba, এটা তো মনে হচ্ছে প্রাণায়াম চলছে। জানি না আমার গুরুদেব কি করে। Immediately tried to divert. No, Baba, এটা হচ্ছে তো প্রাণায়াম। হ্যাঁ রে, দিনভর তো অন্য কাজে বিজি থাকে, বাড়ি তো চালাতে হবে, সংসারও তো দেখতে হবে, সবাই যদি শিব হয়ে যায় তো কি হবে, আমার গুরুদেব বলতেন। তো কখন তো গুরুদেব ওর উপরে মদত করবে, হেল্প করবে, করিয়ে নিচ্ছে হয়তো, আমি জানি না, আমি অতটা জানি না। But I got my answer. And she was so pious, so devoted to her husband, my Guru. She would sit with his dinner till 3:30, 4 in the morning, until Baba came from sadhan. And then Baba would say, কটা বাজে? And she would say, তিনটে হলো ধরো। Then he will say, ওগুলো রেখে দাও, আর খাওয়া যাবে না, এখন খেলে অম্ল হবে। And she is hungry. He also sleeps foodless, she also sleeps foodless. Not one day, not 2 days. Decades. That's the kind of power that this lady has. She is very, very, very powerful. Anyway, so if there are any questions, I am open. Otherwise, we close the booklet today. স্বপ্না কিছু বলবে?
Hello?
কিছু বলবে?
No, thank you so much.
All right.
It was
Okay.
very interesting.
All right. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Jai Guru. Jai.